Welcome, students. Today's lesson is called Writing Equations in Point-Slope Form. It's the third form of a way to write an equation in. You've already learned slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And earlier in the year, you learned standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. And we're going to use all three of these forms on this lesson. But the new one is called point-slope form. And this is the form right here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is actually a very simple form to use. So you're going to write an equation in point-slope form for the line that passes through the point -2, 1 with a slope of -6. So we're going to, and we're not going to graph this today on the video. So we're going to ignore that part. When you write down your point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, you need to know one point. That's what x1 and y1 is. That's one point that this line goes through. And they give us that point right here. So we're going to start out by going y minus, and what's our y value in the point? A 1. And it's a positive 1, so it goes right there, equals. Now our m is slope, and here it is, of -6, so we plug a -6 right there. And then it's x minus our x value, which is -2. And what happens are those two negatives make a positive, so it becomes -6 times x plus 2. So this is our final point slope form. Y minus 1 equals -6 times x plus 2. And that's point slope form. Let's do that again. So it's y minus y1 times, or equals, I'm sorry. Let's start that over. Equals m times x minus x1. So this y stays like it is, minus y1. Well, here's y1, which is 3, equals our slope, which is -1/2. We'll plug that in there, times x minus x1, which is 4. Let me just plug it in there. When your points are positive, the minus will stay. If they were negative points, it would change to a plus, a y plus 3 or x plus 4. But we didn't have any negatives this time. And this is our final answer. This is point slope form. Now we're going to come over here and do this one. Again, the formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus a -8, so that's going to become a y plus 8. You calibrate my board again, I can see. So it's y plus 8 equals m, again, is slope, so you plug your slope in right there, 5, 6, times x minus -2, so we'll just make it a plus 2. And there's our answer, and it's done. The point slope again, very easy. Plug in your first point in x1 and y1, your slope into m, and write it out. Now let's remember and practice standard form. Now I'm going to review you on the rules with standard form. If you'll remember, a has to be bigger than 0. That means that you cannot have a negative for a. A and b also cannot both be 0, so you have to have at least an x or at least a y. And then a, b, and c cannot be fractions. They have to have a greatest common factor of 1. So you're going to take your formula or your equation in standard and rewrite it in standard form. So we have y minus 1 equals 7 times x plus 5. First thing I'm going to do is distribute a property and get rid of my parentheses. Y minus 1 equals 7x plus 35. Now I want my whole numbers on the right because that's c. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I'll be left with y equals 7x plus 36. Now I want my x and my y on the left. So all I have to do is move my 7x's to the left side. So I have negative 7x equals, these are gone here. Oh, I forgot my plus y. Hang on. Negative 7x plus y equals 36. The only problem, I'm not in standard form yet because my a is negative and it has to be bigger than 0, greater than or equal to 0. So to get rid of my negative, I'm going to multiply the entire equation by negative 1. So negative times negative makes a positive 7x, a negative y, and a negative 36. And that is standard form of that the equation above it. All right, we're going to do it again. Draw me a little bar. Y plus 7 equals negative 5 times x plus 3. First thing is get rid of my parentheses. I'll have y plus 7 equals negative 5x minus 15. I did my distributive property. I'm going to take my negative 7 to the other side. So I'll have y equals negative 5x minus 22, because two negatives add to make and stay negative. Now I'm going to take my x's back to the left because I want this in standard form. So I'll add 5x to both sides. So I'll have 5x plus y equals negative 22. And now this is standard form because my a is positive and my x and y are on the left. C is on the right. Finished. Now let's do this one. And it's got the dreaded fraction in it. Let me show you how to do this. Now there's a couple of ways you can get rid of that fraction. If you do distributive property with it and it will cancel out with one of those numbers, then that's not such a bad way to go. But probably the easiest way for almost every problem to be solved is to just get rid of your denominator first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Now everything on the left has to be multiplied with that 3. But on the right, since x plus 6 is in parentheses, it's protected. I don't have to multiply that with 3. So I'll just cancel it out here. That leaves 5 times x plus 6. But on this side, it'll become 3y plus 6. Now I'll get, excuse me, now I'll get rid of my parentheses on this side. So I have 3y plus 6 over here equaling 5x plus 30 over here. Now I'm going to take my 6 and put it on the other side. 3y equals 5x plus 24. Now I'm going to take my 5x back to the left. Again, this is standard form. So negative 5x plus 3y equals positive 24. Can't have a negative, so I'll multiply the entire thing by negative 1. 5x minus 3y equals negative 24. And now I'm finished. Now that was standard form. Last but not least, our favorite, or at least my favorite, slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So you're going to take an equation from point-slope form and put it into slope-intercept form. That means you solve for y. So on this one, get rid of your parentheses first. So you'll have y plus 6 equals negative 3x plus 12. Just like that. Now I just got to move my 6 over. Subtract 6. I've got y equals, which is what I want, negative 3x plus 6. And that is slope-intercept form of that point-slope equation. All it is get y alone. Here's another one with a fraction in it. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4, the denominator, so I can cancel out that fraction. Again, everything on this side gets multiplied with 4, but only the fraction on the right. 4 times y is 4y minus 28. These 4's cancel, leaving a negative 3 times x plus 5. Now I'll use distributive property. Make this a negative 3x minus 15. Now I'm going to add my 28 to the other side. And I'll be left with 4y equals negative 3x plus 13. Now I have to get rid of my 4. You divide both sides by 4 because remember, we're going to slope-intercept form, so we're getting y alone. Now I've got my y alone. Negative 3 divided by 4 will just stay. I can get my negatives to line up on board. A negative 3/4 x plus 13 over 4. Just leave it like that, an improper fraction. You could make it a mixed number, but just leave it like that. That's slope-intercept form. And we're going to do it one more time real quick. Again, practicing with getting rid of a fraction. Multiply both sides by the denominator. This makes 4y plus 24 equaling, those 4's cancel, negative 3 x plus 8. Next step, negative 3x minus 24. Next step is to combine my 24's, or move this 24 to the other side. I'm left with 4y equaling negative 3x minus 48. And now I'm going to divide my 4 away with everything by 4, leaving y equals negative 3/4 x, just leave it like that, minus 12. And that's slope-intercept form again. So remember, go back through this video several times and watch each section, because that's exactly how your paper is going to look. You will have point-slope form first, then you will have standard form, and then last you will have slope-intercept form. I'll see you in class.